Today we're looking at the leichte Feldhaubitze 18-2 auf Fahrgestell Panzerkampfwagen 2, commonly known as the WESPE or the WASP. So the WESPE started production in February 1943 through to about July of 1944, built by the company Armour in Poland. Numbers of this vehicle come out anywhere between 676 to 682, so this is a discrepancy of about 6 depending on which resources you look at. They also made a number of ammunition schleppers which also carried the extra ammunition for this vehicle. Based on the Panzer II F chassis, there's a little bit of difference in this vehicle in the fact that it was lengthened by an extra 22 centimetres, and obviously the configuration had to be changed. So the transmission sits just to the right of the driver. So this is your 6-speed transmission, one in reverse. The data plate on this transmission actually says it was built in 1944. Behind the transmission is your Maybach HL62 TR engine, gives you about 140 horsepower. This can propel this vehicle at around about 40 kilometres an hour. We're pushing about that 11-tonne range now because we've increased the overall armour thickness and added the armoured superstructure for the gun crew. Because we've gone with the extra weight, the half elliptical springs that we have here, they've increased the thickness or the width of them. I think Panzer II, they're sitting at about 80 millimetres wide. These ones on the WESPE chassis is now sitting at about 98 millimetres wide. Also the support arms on Panzer IIs, there's a slight deflection that comes down here, so they're a little bit narrower. These are a lot thicker to give that extra stability for that extra bit of weight. 5 road wheels and the drive sprocket at the front. So we're going to look at the armour on this front plate here, 30mm thickness at about 70 degrees from vertical. So this gives us a line of sight of about 90 millimetres. So we come up, this is about 10mm thick, but this is angled back at about 70 degrees from vertical. So this will give us a line of sight of about 29 millimetres. As we come up the driver's vision block, this thickness here, it's sort of hard to gauge, but it's in between sort of 20 to 22 millimetres thick around. On top, we're looking at about 10 millimetres thick. As we come round to the sides, these side plates here, they're coming in anywhere between 10 to 12 millimetres thick, but we start to narrow once we sort of come into this angle here. Front cover around the crew, it's about 10 millimetres all the way around. However, I've run the caliper on a few different areas and some of them come in at about 8 millimetres. So there is a variance of the thicknesses, but it's only a light armoured vehicle, so it's not meant to really take, you know, the punishment of a tank. What I'm standing on at the moment is the 2 fuel tanks. So they're 140 litres each, so it gives us a combined total of 280 litres. It'll get this vehicle operationally at about 220 kilometres of operational range, about 140 kilometres going cross country. You can see these containers here, left and right. So this is where they hold the charge bag. So there's 32 in total, so 16 either side. And at the rear is where they actually carried the projectiles. I can lift this up and the projectiles are kept either side. And I believe that they could have extra bins attached here as well, which will hold the extra ammunition. So this is the LEFH-18. This is a 10.5 centimetre gun. We actually got the ground mount field howitzer over in the Wehrmacht hall. So this will give us a planning range of about 10,650 metres. This gun has a traverse of 17 degrees. We can actually go -6 degrees and we can bring it up to about +42 degrees in elevation. So you've got your HE, your armour piercing and your smoke rounds. We have a crew of 4, so the gunner would be here and he will look through his RBLF 36 gun sight to be able to lay the gun on accurately for fire. So this is a fairly complete vehicle. Doesn't look like it right now, but we've got a lot of the parts in the workshop ready to go. So this will be another project for Daryl and Jesse to be completed in the very near future. So keep watching for updates.